When you have a game as cool and as long-lasting as Magic the Gathering, you are going to get competitors and knockoffs. Duel Masters was one such knockoff. The game sold itself as Magic the Gathering for kids and played much like it. So to truly promote it, along with an anime, you got a game based off the card game. Duel Masters for PlayStation 2 is a card battle game published by Atari. The plot is really nothing different than any other card game like Yu-Gi-Oh! So the best players gather for the regional tournament with possibly the fate of the world in your hands. The graphics are pretty good. It has a very Killer 7 kind of vibe to the cel-shaded graphics. Monster designs are modeled like a 3D counterpart of the game. This definitely makes the whole game in one sense above and beyond better looking than other card games. The one thing it lacks is the number of cards available. The game only features about 100 cards, so you are going to see the same monsters somewhat often. The only other thing I would have liked is a 3D full explorable world. I know its purpose was to get players interested, but it would have been a nice little touch to the overall experience. The audio is pretty bad. The voice acting is so half-assed it's ridiculous. Almost everybody delivers just the most robotic sounding lines that I don't even know if it's the script or the character movement or it's the voice acting that's causing it. The music itself is really cheesy as well, sounding like really bad 80s guitar riffs. I know it's supposed to add energy to a card game, but when it's this cheesy, it's annoying. Not to mention, it cuts out midway through during battles in the game, and you get like this really stupid mode out low ditty. Gameplay could have been a lot better. 6 playable characters are in the game. Each has their own playstyle and deck, which makes them unique. The problem is that the game breaks itself, which I will get into in a second. So the basic thing is that it's like Magic the Gathering for dummies or for kids, like I mentioned before. The whole goal is that you have to generate 6 points of damage in the form of 5 shields and a kill shot. Shields are cards from your deck, much like prizes from Pokemon. Some effects will go off if they are used for shields and give you a bonus or hit to your opponent. One might say destroy all monsters 2,000 or less, or another might say draw 3 cards. You use cards in hand to generate mana so you can summon creatures, so it's kind of like a risk versus reward system, which is cool. You also have fundamentally 2 kinds of monsters, attackers and blockers. Some can destroy 2 shields, others can't attack the main character, and so on. The one thing I like about it is the whole system is that you really don't have to panic unless the game is nearly over. About hand size, because all shields destroyed go to hand. One downside is that all shield triggers go to the grave, but their effects don't cost mana. There are some cool elements like arcade mode to test decks and a multiplayer mode with the second playstyle called Extreme, where the game breaks itself is that your opponent can see your hand and you can see your opponent's hand. I got one other question. Who in the right mind thought this would be a good idea? You can predict and laugh almost immediately at your opponent's next move. This makes the whole single player useless because if you have a good enough hand and draws, you can almost immediately lock out your opponent. Now moving on to other problems. There's a lot of loading and saving. It needs to load and save every time you go anywhere on the map and to get in and out of battles. It's not that it's long, but it's frequent. Not to mention it needs to save every time you leave the card shop, like it needs to create a completely new game. Add on boring battles with mediocre artificial intelligence, lack of variety due to the limited number of cards in the game, and you have just a flat, boring playing game. Overall, Duel Masters has a somewhat decent card battle system, but botched on the execution. The variation of the card game lasted 1 year until it died after 12 sets, with the name recently being resurrected. I like the system itself and some of the features, but the fact that you can look at your opponent's hand kills it at the word go. As it stands, don't bother with it. It's 5 bucks, but you can put towards better games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Castle Monster, Coliseum, or Concept.